Hey guys, welcome to another amazing episode of the 404 Live. We're here with Brother James Walker, and we have two very special guests. We have Jessica Dawson. Hey, Jessica! And we have Myra Herring with us. Two wonderful ladies that are entrepreneurs in their own right, and they are thriving. And we brought them here to talk to you guys a little bit about their journey, their story, and things that you don't want to miss. So without further ado, Jessica Dawson, tell us a little bit about yourself. Talk to us.
Sure. Well, first and foremost, thanks so much for having me here.
Oh, you're welcome.
It's always a pleasure to connect. And a little bit about me. So former stockbroker, ex-consultant, learning and development consultant. Today I am an entrepreneur and I am a business coach. I've coached and developed tens of thousands of people all around the world, and I decided that I wanted to make my own rules and do things on my own terms. So I help people that are looking to escape their corporate jobs, turn their side hustles into their main hustles, and or scale and grow their businesses. And I love developing human beings. So that's my thing.
That's what
I love it. I felt that in my soul. Let's develop me today, Jessica. Myra, you guys, come on. Like, we got a Capricorn and a Cancer. Yes. James and I are Capricorn and Cancer. So I thought that was amazing. Yes. Yeah. But Myra, tell us, please, about you. Myra's one of my former clients, and I love working with her at real estate segment. Okay. So I'm glad to see you thriving years later, as you always, I knew you would and will be.
Absolutely, Torrance. Always good. Always a pleasure to be with you. Yeah. Great to meet James, and y'all's energy is just amazing. So I'm Coach Myra. I'm a wellness coach, and I really focus on the emotional, mental, and spiritual wellness of my clients. I mostly work with women, and I really help them get out of this social conditioning that we have of living someone else's dream, doing all the things that really don't fulfill us, and get more into a life of what I call flow and alignment. And so it's more of your spiritually led life. It's that understanding, what calls you, what's pulling at your heartstrings, what is the life that you want to live. And I help them do it without guilt and without compromise, so they are living a life that's more fulfilling for them. So I met Jessica. We went to Spelman together, and we decided that, we had something in common. We love working with other coaches. I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about that.
I want to hear that, yep.
It's been great just working with Jessica.
And can I also just say that Myra and I were not necessarily super close in college, and we reconnected.
Yep.
And I think there's something to, like, it was almost like a full circle moment.
Absolutely.
Where when you're ready for the right person, the right partner, things appear, things align. And
that's a whole segment, right?
That's a segment.
That's a whole segment.
Yes, it's true.
Alignment.
Yeah.
Just hearing you speak wants me to go ahead and sign up for a session.
Sign up, James.
I need wellness to everybody.
Yeah, I'm extending to men now. Like I had, my work of business has mostly been women. But the more I do this work, the more I do webinars, the more I hear from people. Wellness is something that everyone needs. It's not just women.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I think, definitely there's been a shift, a transition, I think, in a focus on wellness. Definitely COVID played a huge part. I don't think COVID really created it. It just brought it to the surface. Right. I think there's been a cultural shift. Typically, people of color or Black and brown folks did not have access to wellness, the money maybe, or even access to coaches, therapists. Like it was a privilege that we didn't always have access to. So there's been shifts and transitions. We know more about it. We understand the importance. And so people, I think, are making it a priority, and I love seeing it.
Oh my God. I'll tell you, that ministers to me so in such a special way, because growing up as a kid, Torrance story, I had a stutter problem really bad. And my parents didn't have any money. And we had Britannica encyclopedias at the time. And I was self-taught to research and learn how to stop stuttering.
Wow.
And as early as 7, I couldn't complete a sentence in class. I used to, we had oral reading. It was go up and down the line, and then I could read it. And I would run to the bathroom and get sick every day, and I would cry in the bathroom until I started researching techniques to do and to utilize to stop. And now I'm a whole attorney, and I'm running for mayor, and I can't put down a microphone. Give me a microphone.
Give me a microphone.
I cannot. Where is it? Where is it?
Right.
And so I was self-taught, but I think there's a certain amount of trauma that builds up in people.
Yeah.
And they become resilient. They become fighters. They become fight or flight, you know, kind of thing. And I was a baby. I was 8 years old having to deal with this. My parents didn't know.
Yeah.
They didn't have any money.
Yeah.
All they was like, just shut up and talk right.
Yeah.
I mean, doing the best that they could do. And then so, you know, I'm understanding that people who stutter are highly intelligent, actually.
Yeah.
Our president, he was one of them. I think Steve Harvey had a stutter problem. Other entertainers who now you really can't get a microphone
out of their hand.
Yeah.
Right.
So, you know, wellness is a big part. And I think we need to get to our children at a younger age now and get the resources to them.
Yeah.
And get the resources to the parents
Yep.
to help the kids, because we didn't have them back when I was growing up.
What I also like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but that probably also taught you how to speak over yourself and to overcome. Yeah. That lesson probably continues to live out in your.
That's so true, because now I'm an overachiever. I'm A-type. I want to do more, and my children have adopted that. Like, we're never satisfied. How much is enough? It's just not, because you never know what's going to happen. Maybe that's good or bad, but suffice to say, you know, I'm always I'm front line. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's hit it. Fire, house is on fire. I'm running in.
Yeah.
I'm running in. We're going to figure it out.
No, they call it ready, fire, aim.
Right. Ready, fire. There we go. Boom.
Ladies, okay, I know we're short on time because James is a busy guy, and I'm grateful for your time, James. What did inspire you, ladies, to pursue your entrepreneurship careers with coaching? Why? Because you ladies were in corporate for a little bit, as we mentioned.
20 years.
You got to say that. You have to let people know that.
20 years.
You understand.
Well, and there's a couple of things. I would say one is we live in a very different world today where going to a 9-to-5 does not guarantee much. And so there's that aspect. And then the Rich Dad, Poor Dad book really spoke to me. And for me, it's always about impact. And in my corporate job, I actually was coaching people. What was always missing was I was being told what to do. And I've always been a person that doesn't always like to follow the rules all the way. Okay. I will just admit I was always a CB student, which a lot of entrepreneurs are.
Right.
And there's something about being able to create these waves of impact that has a cap in corporate America. But also when I think about entrepreneurship, it's a spiritual journey. It's a spiritual journey of testing your limits, and going back to James's point, where we're always continuously expanding. We're never done growing. And entrepreneurship allows for you to compete against the world, where versus in an organization, you're competing against your peers. But there's so there's something to it.
I love it. All right, Myra.
Yeah, definitely. I too, I didn't mention, but I was in consulting. So I was a technology consultant for about 12 years, one of the top 5 firms. You know, we both went to Spelman, you know, had high aspirations and come out of school. And I was on a path, like I was going to be married by a certain age. I was going to have the kids. I was going to do the career, and I was unfulfilled. Like I was reaching burnout quick, and I didn't identify it as burnout because I didn't understand what burnout was. So I did the 12 years in corporate, and then I moved to nonprofit because I was like, oh, well, maybe nonprofit. Yeah, that'll help, you know, kind of give me something that's more meaningful. I'll find the balance. And I was still unfulfilled. I was still exhausted, and I was an executive at a nonprofit. So I felt like I was actually working more. With this unfulfillment, I still had work on the side that I did feel fulfilled from. I spent a lot of time working with women and their image, their personal branding. And as I worked with these women, I was having conversations. I was doing makeup if they're in the chair. We were having conversations about deeper inner work things, inner workings that really, it sparked something in me. And I was like, there's more to this. And so after, you know, last year, I actually got to the point where I was like, I can't do this anymore. I am going to fulfill something that I feel the spark, I feel the calling. And it was a little deeper than the makeup and the personal branding. It really turned out to be, I wanted to do coaching. And so it turned into wellness coaching where I was actually focusing on women's well-being, their emotional well-being, their mental well-being, their spiritual well-being, so they could actually live a life that was more fulfilling.
That's awesome.
Can we also just commend you on the fact that you got the spark and how fast you took the leap?
Took it.
I think that, and I'll put myself out there.
Yeah.
Because when I first got the call for entrepreneurship, it was 2017, 2018.
Okay.
And I stayed. I continued to stay. And so the festering of you should be doing this, you should be doing this, and my energy almost being split between the fear of leaving the old life and the old person that I was to step into now the unknown.
We're not telling people to quit their jobs right away, but you also plan. Would you
Well, I would say quit your job.
If that's what it takes.
If that's what it takes.
Okay. All right.
And the thing is like, if I would have started in 2017, imagine where I would have been now.
Yeah.
I took the leap. I started growing my business while I was still in corporate America, and then I switched over. So started really growing it 2019, 2020, and then I took the leap this year.
Okay.
So
Do you believe that you have to feel the passion once you start? Some people start things and don't finish things.
So I think with entrepreneurship, it's a game of plan, execute, and iterate. And I would almost replace entrepreneurship with iteration. And so I don't think that it's ever a start and stop. It's usually a start and a pivot, because you can fail fast, you can learn, you pivot into something else, and then you're better for it. And so I'll just be candid and also say, like, this is not my first business. I had a hair care business.
True.
I thought I wanted to do other things, and you never really know unless you try, and the learning is in the doing.
Oh, that's real.
And you said something. It's a spiritual journey.
Yes.
When I started my firm, it was just a leap of faith.
Yeah.
Speak to us a little bit more about the spiritual aspect of it, because literally when you are quitting your job and you have a family to support, right, and you have people who depend on you, it's more than just you jumping out the cliff. It's you and everybody else you're responsible for, and that's a big undertaking to do.
It is.
Yeah.
And I will also say that for me, I almost have a leg up because I'm not married and I don't have kids and I am 40. So I'm redefining what a successful life looks like, especially as a woman. However, I do have elderly parents that I know I will have to at some point step in and take care of. So there is a weight that comes along with that.
Sure.
Getting back to the spiritual essence of the journey of entrepreneurship, it goes back to faith.
That's it.
And
That's it.
there's a woman that played a really big role in my deciding to quit. She was in medical school, surgeon, final year of residency. Her arm got injured where she couldn't be a surgeon, and it almost crushed her.
Oh, wow.
What she said was, I decided to take the leap of faith into entrepreneurship to create my own business. And what I noticed is that when you decide, the universe catches you. And so you could think about it as the universe or a higher power or God or whatever it is. But there's always a container that when there's a void and there's a belief there, it will be fulfilled. So the faith piece is huge. And yes, you're going to work your ass off.
Yep.
You're going to work your ass off. You're going to be uncomfortable. But once you decide, it's a different energy that I'm going to try.
Yeah.
And I tell you,
I was going to just add to that. We mentioned the word alignment earlier, and I think that was the word that really took me through this journey. I felt exhausted when I wasn't, doing the work that I love. And I really got in tune with this word alignment, and it's spiritual alignment. It's alignment in so many ways, but for me, it was what is in alignment with my heart's calling. And when I was true and honest to that, it meant I needed to quit my job. Like we talked about that, maybe it means some people need to quit their job. I think it's first being honest though, because we typically know, if you're in tune,
you know when you know.
You hear, you feel, you sense, sometimes we ignore. But when you are in alignment, things open up. Like you will see opportunities that come, things start to flow, like things start to make sense. Like, oh, that's why this happened. Like, I'm telling you, alignment is like alignment in a car.
Can I say something? I'm about to explode. Because I liken that when I got a call in to run for mayor.
Yeah.
I kid you not, you guys. I was fine. You know, I was fine. My law practice was doing well. Never thought about running for office. Ever. Didn't even really like politics. Been around them a lot. They've bastardized the political arena. They've bastardized that word. It's supposed to be servant. So when I got the call to do it, I thought that, like I said, I asked my wife, and then I prayed about it. And I tell this story, God just didn't say anything to me. I heard nothing. It was like this, quiet.
The calm.
And 2 or 3 days later, all I heard was, without faith, it's impossible to really please me. So he said, move out and I'll show you. And like I said, I didn't have a campaign manager. I didn't know the first thing about canvassing. People started coming my way. It was ridiculous. The money was there. The support was there. And I'm like, God, I would have never known. Regardless of what the outcome is, which I believe I am going to win, but the journey and the being open and being obedient to God opens up doors for other people. You have no idea where I've inspired somebody. And I get phone calls. I get people at 2 o'clock at night in the morning are sending me inspirational text messages. Thank you for being obedient. We've never had somebody like you in College Park. So that feeds me like Freddy Krueger was fed by nightmares. I'm fed by these people who really are, and I'm telling my age too.
You feel
We know.
Y'all know, right. So I get that alignment, but you will never know unless you what?
Try. You have to. Well, actually, you got to commit.
Step out of step.
Commit and take action. And don't just stay in a place where you're reading the books and going to the conferences and studying entrepreneurship. In order to be in the game, you have to be in the game.
The leap is actually the decision and the action. It's not a leap if you just decide. It's the action that actually makes the leap.
Yes.
And the stairs will appear.
They will.
They will.
They will. I promise you they will.
And that belief thing that you talked about is so real because you have to hold the vision before anybody else does. You have to water the seed and you have to get out there and continue to bust your ass until people see it and start to believe with you. And that journey of isolation, people don't always talk about either. As you go through the death and rebirth of becoming who you have to become to really sustain the energetic vibration. We're getting a little deep here.
Let's get deep.
Vibration to hold the success that you crave.
Well, that was one of my next questions. I was going to ask, what are the strategies that you've used to overcome setbacks or failures during your entrepreneurial journey? And feeling the loneliness is not a failure. It's just an experience. It's a way. So maybe can you ladies talk about that as to what strategies you have as you're coaching others that are going through the failures or the shifts or pivots of entrepreneurship? What strategies do y'all share?
You know, I think it's important that you set up structure, rituals, the scaffolding is what I call it. Like putting that scaffolding in place is so important because what happens is in the times of stress, you actually always default back to whatever structure is in place. So if your structure is not in play, you're going to default back to something. So it's best that, you know, at your best times when you have the energy, when you're highly motivated, create the structure. So my structure is, I have a devotion time every morning. You know, I set aside quiet time for me and that devotion is filling my cup. So my devotion looks like it's praise and worship. It is meditation, and I journal. And that's my time. And I actually do yoga now too. I do yoga. I don't do yoga every morning.
Are you blaming Jessica for that?
No, but we share that. She does Pilates. I do hot yoga. And that's not every morning, but every day I have something. That is the structure. That's the ritual. So there can be days where I don't feel up to it, but if I have that, I poured into my cup.
So you do it no matter what, is what we're hearing.
The devotion I do no matter what.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but other things I may not feel up to, right? So, but that quiet time is so important that I commit to it every morning, and that is creating that structure. So when I get down or when challenges come, I have something to fall back onto.
And you said something very, very positive and very point. You said you commit to a quality time.
Yeah.
Now, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I think the operative word is commit.
Yes.
Whatever your schedule
Whatever
allows.
you can do. That's
Because
true.
I'm very, very busy.
Yeah.
Like, when I was growing up, it said you got to spend an hour in prayer. Well, I don't necessarily do that, but it's not an hour that goes by that I don't pray.
Yes.
You see?
That's real.
Right.
You got to have time with God or with that inner spiritual power that gives you what you need. But that is key. If it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you got to do, you got to do it.
Totally.
Every morning.
You got to do it.
And I would add, I love that you talked about the scaffolding. And for me, it's like, it's the comfort zone. The comfort zone is actually not that comfortable, but when we are stressed, we look for comfort. And most people cling to comfort, and that's really the problem, right?
Yes.
So
That's it.
when you have that morning routine, I would say mine is waking up earlier. So I did an intense 12-week detox back in 2022. So I started waking up 4:35 so I have a very intense ritual of celery juice and sauna.
There you go.
And, coffee enema if we're going to go there.
You said celery.
So yeah, I had a whole process. And then the other thing I started this process about a year ago, is I started listening to reprogramming tapes at night. So if you really want to do a quantum in your situation, in your circumstance, and I'll just be really candid in sharing that.
Yes, that's what we hear, girl.
I was really dead inside at my corporate job because I had outgrown it. I was staying there, and I just was and then the pandemic hit. And so my alone game right now is really strong, I will say. But the other thing too is when we think about the morning ritual, the morning routine, it sets you up for success for the rest of your day.
It does.
And so,
It does.
but going back to the reprogramming thing, so all of us have limiting beliefs, and we give meaning to the experiences that happen in our life. And so the fastest ways, one of the fastest ways to really kind of squelch all of your limiting beliefs is to, like, when you're in the theta state and you're sleeping, put on reprogramming tapes, because you can actually eliminate, not have to go to therapy for years and years and years.
That is so true.
And
So true.
what it made me is really have a fearlessness in the way that I approach life. Because before, I used to live my life in a lot of fear, which kept me in my circumstance. Because whatever you focus on grows.
Sure. Fear and doubt, Jessica?
Fear, doubt. I mean, doubt is a form of fear. So the reprogramming tapes, game changer.
Game
Can you say what a reprogramming tape is?
Yeah, break that down for us, Jessica.
What it is.
So you can actually get them off of YouTube. I have my clients do this as well. But they have all types of ones. The ones that I listen to are more so about being a limitless manifester. But they have ones on weight loss. They have ones on sales, attracting clients, more money, whatever it is. But what you'll start to see is, well, there's a couple of things that happened. One, because our bodies like to keep us safe, you're going to have some bad dreams because your body's trying to wake you up. But that's actually how you know it's working. Okay. And then number two is you're going to start to see things show up magically in your life. Once the old beliefs go and the new beliefs cement.
It's powerful.
It is so powerful.
Wow.
I will never not do it. And I highly encourage anybody else to do it, because we've had so much conditioning and so much in our school system, in our life, that has not really illuminated the fact that all of us are a force.
Yeah.
Right.
It is.
Kids don't hear that.
That is,
Yeah.
as a man thinketh, so
Yes,
is
so
he.
is he.
The abundance of the heart, the mouth does what?
Yep.
Speak. Faith works regardless.
Yes.
Fear is faith. It's just the opposite.
Yes.
You're putting
The other
faith
force.
into something negative instead of something positive. So faith works. It's a spiritual principle. Like
absolutely
reaping and
is.
sowing,
Yes.
it all
It's
works.
a language.
Regardless
It's a
of who
currency.
works it, it's going to work.
It's a currency.
If I drop this on the floor, guess what? It's going to drop.
Yeah.
Gravity works for everybody. Faith does,
Yeah.
just like any other spiritual law. It does.
So true.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I'm like taken back. We gotta keep this going because this is awesome.
Yeah.
And we're gonna take a break after this. For those entrepreneurs that are out there, what resources do you guys give some of your coaching clients to continue in their journey. I'll keep it open-ended.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely giving them resources to reprogram.
Yeah.
I'm definitely giving them resources around how to structure your business to create active, passive, and residual income, because it's all in the way that you're structured.
Or networks as well.
Networking. And I also give lists of different books. There's so much great content out there. Some of it is repetitive, and you've got to find the voice that really speaks to you. But there are a few books that I absolutely swear by, because they're just phenomenal. One of them I'm actually finishing up now. The Millionaire Mindset.
Yes.
Harv, I can't remember his last name. But I think you almost have to embody it. You have to engross yourself in the process of becoming an entrepreneur. You have to give and sacrifice a lot. And so I give resources around mindset, because 80% of selling is mindset. 80% of getting over and overcoming is how you're thinking.
Right.
Yeah. So my resources are more aligned on that front.
Yeah. A lot of the work that I do is very unique to what that individual is dealing with, especially as it comes to wellness. Most of the time, the work starts with the belief in self and really being honest about what we want. You know, I talked about this social conditioning. So I was in a place, I was in a rut. I was stuck in this social conditioning of things have to happen a certain way and look a certain way. Living someone else's dream. It wasn't even my dream. I wasn't even happy. It wasn't what I wanted, you know.
But Myra, you look so happy online.
Right, you look so I am
social media doesn't show everyone everything, does it?
It doesn't. We put our best.
The highlight reel.
Out.
Oh,
it's our
social
best.
media.
It's the highlights. It can be. And you can be dealing with just complete unfulfillment and not even know it too. Like, I don't know if I even connected with the fact that I wasn't happy and truly feeling joy, right? Like, you have moments of happiness, but this thing I got now is true joy and the core. Like, I haven't even fully replaced the income I was making. I was making a great income in corporate and my nonprofit job. I haven't even fully replaced it. But the joy that
it's priceless.
It's priceless. Like, it gives me the energy to want to go and do the work. And so resources, it varies. A lot of the work, though, I spend time with women doing self-reflective exercises. I have this one exercise I love where you just draw a line down the middle of the page and you write love and loathe, and you go through a week. And you just write down moments when you love something and moments when you loathe something. Like, if you feel something that you really don't enjoy doing, and you just take track of it. It helps you learn yourself. Yes. It's simple.
Write that down.
Love, loathe, and you pay attention. Like, moments that spark joy.
And a week should truly show you that, right? A week will show you the world.
And then you pay attention to the patterns. Oh, this is something that I love doing. It could be I'm spending time outside, and that joy sparks anytime you're outside, riding a bike, you know, walking, whatever. But it's really my practice. It really gets you back to self. I call it a return to self.
A return to self.
It's a return to self.
I feel like this is just ministering to everybody who is watching.
Somebody needed to hear this.
You don't understand what good you will do until the end of your journey. Along the way, you are touching people, and you are changing lives, and you are changing generations. You are changing legacies. So I applaud you, sister, my Spelman sisters, for doing such a great work.
Yes.
We need y'all.
We need y'all. Speaking of that, how can people find you too? Like, where can people find you, Jessica?
Sure. So you can find me on Instagram, TikTok, Empowered for Sales. You can also look me up on LinkedIn. I'm on there. And I'd love to connect. You can also just email me, jessica@empoweredforsales.com. I'd love to connect.
Yes. All right, Myra.
And I'm on Instagram and LinkedIn and Twitter. It's at Capri Brand, CAPRIBRAND. And Myra Herring, last name is spelled HERRING, on Facebook and LinkedIn.
All right. Well, thank you, ladies. And tune back in. We'll have some more great stuff with these ladies. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you.